The international laws established in the Montevideo Convention on the Rights and Duties of States, a state must possess the following qualifications: a permanent population, a defined territory, government, the capacity to enter into relations with other states. Allah's 5% nation-state is a state/person of international law and possesses the following mentioned qualifications as explained in Video 1 entitled Declaration for Statehood PT1. Furthermore, our statehood. We the original people for Allah's 5% nation of gods and earths hereby declare our intention to be state nationals for our nation-state known as Allah's 5% nation-state. The political existence of Allah's 5% nation-state is independent of recognition by the other states. Even before recognition, Allah's 5% nation-state has been manifesting the right to defend its integrity and independence, to show and prove for its growth and development, and culturally organizing itself as it sees fit, legislating upon its interests, administering its services, and it shall define the jurisdiction and competence of its own courts. The exercise of these rights has no other limitation than the exercise of the rights of other states under international law. No state has the right to intervene in the internal or external affairs of another, and therefore, no state has the right to intervene in the internal or external affairs of Allah's 5% nation-state. The jurisdiction of Allah's 5% nation-state is within the borders of our defined territorial land, air and water spaces, which is the national/divine trust territories applying to all the inhabitants. Nationals and foreigners are under the same protection of the law and the national authorities. BUT, the foreigners may not claim rights other or more extensive than those of the nationals for Allah's 5% nation-state. One of the primary interests of Allah's 5% nation-state is the conservation of peace. To maintain, in the absence of confusion, the settled recognized specific methods by which we keep the peace is via the liberation movement known as the Peacekeeping Force for Allah's 5% nation-state U/A. Fruit of Allah, FOA, the military training of men, women, and children in the nation of gods and earth. Peace, and the conservation thereof, is the UNIVERAL greeting and code of conduct for Allah's 5% nation-state. The defined territory/trust territories of Allah's 5% nation-state is inviolable and may not be the object of military occupation nor of other measures of force imposed by another state directly or indirectly or for any motive whatsoever, not even temporarily under eminent domain or state of emergency. If there is a cause for eminent domain, state of emergency, and or domestic emergencies, then Allah's 5% nation-state will assist in the conservation of peace, as we did in the 1960 riots after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Domestic emergencies shall be emergencies affecting the public welfare and occurring within the 50 states, District of Columbia, Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, U.S. possessions and territories, as a result of enemy attack, insurrection, civil disturbance, earthquake, fire, flood, or other public disasters or equivalent emergencies that endanger life and property or disrupt the usual process of government. Nationals for Allah's 5% nation-state shall not be obtained/detained by force, whether this consists in the employment of arms, in threatening diplomatic representations, or in any other effective coercive measure. Our nationhood. We the original people for Allah's 5% nation-state are descendants and members of the original peoples of North, Central, and South America, otherwise known as Allah's 5% nation-state, and are not so-called Negroes, colored folks, blacks, or African Americans, Moorish Americans, Native Americans, Indians, etc. All those terms are misnomers and would make U.S. stateless, also non-descendable as a people and dead in the eyes of the law, civil leader mortis. Therefore, we do not subscribe to any of these terminologies to define our identity as nationals. Our nationality. Customary law of nations teaches that certain maxims and customs, consecrated by long use and observed by nations in their mutual intercourse with each other as a kind of law, form the customary law of nations or the custom of nations. This law is founded on a tacit consent, or, if you please, on a tacit convention of the nations, that observe it towards each other, whence it appears that it is not obligatory except on those nations who have adopted it, and that it is not universal, any more than the conventional law. We have a nationality that we express through our divine cultural and national customs, which is our manifestation of international customary laws, such as our universal greetings of peace, peace God, peace earth, peace king, peace queen, peace to the babies, etc. The wearing of crowns, W/tassels, and head wraps representing the graduation of our national curriculum, or acknowledging 120 * degrees of knowledge and wisdom of our cipher. The participation in univeral parliaments and nation business. The ciphers we hold to build on our nation's protocols. Growth and development programs for our babies. Children's science fairs, musical arts performances, public and private service announcements, and vendors of cultural souvenirs, apparel, literatures, accessories, etc. at our annual show and prove, held in commemoration of our father and founder, Allah. Our administration of national affairs by the boards for the different organs in our nation. Our nation's history known as the Bomb History, aka the greatest story never told by beloved Allah. The raising of our universal flag, designed by Universal Shamgod Allah in 1966 and ordained by the Father Allah in 1967 on our property. The wearing of our universal flag on the lapel of our coats. Attendance at our national headquarters known as Allah School in Mecca. Our national anthem known as the Enlightener, written by Ammar and Knowledge Allah. Our shared regions of national jurisdictions, for example, Harlem, Mecca, Brooklyn, Medina, Queens, Desert/Oasis, Bronx, Helen, Long Island, Lord's Island, Staten Island, Savior's Island, and New Jersey, now Justice, etc. Various community services and interactions such as the revealing of Allah and Justice 5% Square, petition initiated by Malachi Allah. Reading of our 5%er newspaper, which displays divine reflections of the gods and earths, articles on the sciences of everything in life, plus degrees that add on to our 120 * lessons, nation business advertisements, etc. The reciting of the daily supreme mathematics, reciting by Daysun Allah on New York City's most popular radio station, Hot 97. The reciting and activation of our supreme mathematics and supreme alphabets, manifested and taught by our Father Allah, as a national language and element of our evolving culture. Applying supreme mathematics and supreme alphabets as a means of judging all ciphers, persons, places, and things through justice, law, and order, to execute or receive a reward or penalty. The memorization, recitation, comprehension, and cultural expression of our 120 * lessons. Military and martial arts training as a means of self-defense via the fruit of Allah, FOA, the military training of men, women, and children in the nation of gods and earth. Classes instructed by Sobu. Other classes instructed by Shakwest Lord Infinite Allah. The duty of teaching civilization, righteousness, the knowledge of self, and the science of everything in life, love, peace, and happiness. The application of the knowledge of self for the development of our own self-styled wisdom, which brings about an understanding which is the best part. Among many other international customary laws, cultural customs, and expressions not mentioned in this declaration, we are nationals/citizens and/or state nationals for Allah's 5% nation-state, having our origin in this world near the wilderness of North America, and more specifically in Harlem, New York, which we as a nation know as the holy city of Mecca, where the knowledge and wisdom of the original people started when our nation was first founded by the Father, Allah, and Old Man Justice. We, the original people for Allah's 5% nation of gods and earths, are state nationals for the nation-state identified as Allah's 5% nation-state. Our nationality law defines our jurisdiction as the holy city of Mecca under agreement with U/A, Allah U Justice Estates, Divine Trust Territories. Therefore, this is how/why we also identify as nationals/state nationals for Allah's 5% nation-state. Our race. We the original people for Allah's 5% nation are an Asiatic race of original peoples, the autochthons, the earliest known inhabitants of a region/s, having our origins in the original peoples of Africa, Asia, Europe, North, Central and South America, Australia and Antarctica, otherwise known as state nationals for Allah's 5% nation-state near the wilderness of North America, and more specifically, Harlem, New York, which we as a nation refer to as the holy city of Mecca, where the knowledge and wisdom of our nation started when our nation was first founded by the Father, Allah and Old Man Justice.